All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is Saturday.
It is.
Looks like we're going to make this a two-part. Paul preaches in Thessalonica, Acts chapter 17, starting at verse 1. Paul and Silas then traveled through the towns of Amphipolis and Apollonia and came to Thessalonica. Where there was a Jewish synagogue. As was Paul's custom, he went to the synagogue service, and for 3 Sabbaths in a row he used the scriptures to reason with the people. He explained the prophecies and proved that the Messiah must suffer and rise from the dead. He said, "This Jesus I'm telling you about is the Messiah." But some Jews who listened were persuaded. So some of the Jews who listened were persuaded and joined Paul and Silas, along with many God-fearing Greek men and quite a few prominent women. Another commentary for that part. Thessalonica was the wealthiest and most influential city in Macedonia. This was the first city Paul visited where his teaching attracted a large group of socially prominent citizens. The church he planted grew quickly, but from AD 50 to 51, Paul was forced out of the city by a mob. Acts chapter 17, verses 5 and 6, and verse 10. He later sent Timothy back to Thessalonica to see how the Christians were doing. Soon afterward, Paul wrote 2 letters to the Thessalonian believers, the books of 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, encouraging them to remain faithful and to refuse to listen to false teachers who tried to refute their beliefs. A synagogue, a group of Jews who gathered for teaching and prayer, could be established wherever 10 Jewish males lived. Paul's regular practice was to preach in the synagogues as long as the Jews allowed it. Often those who weren't Jews would come to these services and hear Paul's preaching. When Paul spoke in the synagogues, he wisely began talking about the Old Testament writings and explaining how the Messiah fulfilled them, moving from the known to the unknown. This is a good strategy for us. When we witness for Christ, we should begin where people are, affirming the truth that they do know, and then we can present Christ, the one who is truth.
It's hard to build and learn if you don't have the basics.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that even in elementary school, you have to learn your alphabet before you can read.
Yeah, you don't want to come to I would have to say a non-believer and give them all these really super deep spiritual truths when they just want to hear, the only thing that they want to hear or can really understand at the moment is where they are at the moment, and how Christ can save them from whatever it is they're going through. Meet them where, it's what it says there, meet them where they are. And just in our own lives, that's where Christ met us, is where we were. And we were able to witness to people where we were and where they were. And then from there, you build, because later Paul says, stop drinking milk and have some meat, as far as the...
And it's not talking about the food.
It's talking about the Christ has met you where you were, and now you're growing, and now it's time to start getting into the deeper things of God.
You're growing like a baby develops.
Right.
You don't eat meat when you're first born.
Yeah.
You eat milk when you're first born, and that's what he's referring to in that.
Yeah. And I always think about the other thief on the cross. When he said, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus said, "Today you'll be with me in paradise." He didn't say, "Well, first of all, you got to do, and think about and do this and that and the other thing, okay." It was just there it was. And that's where Christ is with us. He meets us where we are, gives you your salvation instantly, and then from there to help you progress with the rest of your life. It's not a switch, but it is a start.
Correct.
And that's where we are. We are in that progress.
But you never stop growing.
You never ever stop growing, no.
So you're always developing and learning and refining and being refined. So it's an ongoing process for everyone.
I just don't want anybody to be delusional about what the salvation is. It's not you go somewhere and somebody is an addict of something and you give them the gospel and they believe and then they walk away thinking, okay, well now I'm fixed. Well,
it
sort
happens. It happens.
It does.
But it's not a typical result.
People are fixed, but
yes.
It's still your, for lack of a better word, your muscle memory still wants to go
Correct.
back to all these things, and it takes the Holy Spirit to help you not to unlearn those things. Really, is what you're trying to do.
And the Holy Spirit will guide you.
Absolutely.
And God will help you.
Absolutely.
If you let Him.
That's right. You still have your own choice. If you don't want it, He's not going to force it on you.
Right.
Okay. I hope everybody has a glorious day, and we'll talk to you later.